Welcome back to the Sidetrack Railroad and designing inexpensive 7.5-inch ride-on locomotive trucks, Part 3. Last time we came up with a fairly bulky and expensive design, so we need to figure out how to reduce our metal usage. At the same time, I was thinking, what if we combine the suspension and the bearings into a single assembly? Instead of trying to take the cues from standard truck design, we'll just see what we can come up with. So let's see if we can't reduce that $400 worth of Amazon steel and slim down that design. First up, we're going to be using our same 4-foot spine. Then we have our bolster, which is the same basic 1x2 rectangular tubing stacked, but we keep changing the lengths. And here's the original truck body, spec'd out of 1.5 by 1.5 by 1/4-inch steel L, or we could easily use 3-inch by 1.5-inch U. And when we put that all together, it starts to look something like this. Now the tubing isn't much, 2274. But then we're talking about 156 inches of 1x1 angle steel, which comes out to 160/20. Now, keep in mind, all of these metal prices are based off of Amazon, which is extremely high. Now, to put that in perspective, I can get stuff locally for half to a third the cost of what I'm listing here. But I'm using Amazon because people may not have access to a local hardware store, and it gives us a high end for budgeting. Now, all that said, it brings us to a total of $182.94 per truck, which is kind of, it's not great. It's maybe slightly better than what we can get out of cast stuff, but this just looks horrible compared to that. So this is what we're going to look at slimming down and refining today. So once again, we're going to adjust the upper length of our bolster. And we're going to look at a very minimalist design of just a couple of 1/4-inch steel bars. Now I left these as one part in FreeCAD just because I was lazy, but these would just be two separate 1.5-inch bars. Then what we're going to do is just bolt our bearings to that with springs. Our bolts then serve as the spring guides. It lets us ride up and down a bit. We don't have a lot of clearance, we have some. And slimming down our material greatly reduces the cost. We're down to $40.73 for the metal. But is 1/4-inch steel bar going to hold 2 riders? No, I don't think it will. I think this would be fine for a riderless car. It can definitely hold some weight, but I wouldn't put 2 people on this. I don't think. So let's use this same idea for the suspension and bearings and beef it up. Let's start with 1/2-inch steel bar, a 14-inch length and about an 1.5 inches wide. Now, these are starting to look better, and we're coming in at 95.76 per truck. But the 1/2-inch steel bar may still be a bit overkill, especially when we're supporting it with a 1/4 inch underneath. So That bar is also expensive, so let's think smarter about this and go back to angle steel. Of course, we're going to want to adjust our bolster once again. Hopefully, this is going to be the last time we need to adjust this. We have 9 inches up top, we have 13 inches down below, and still the 1 by 2 inch steel tubing at 1/4 inch thick. Now, all we've really done here is we keep changing the length. I'm sure we could probably do something with the thickness as well, but I just haven't bothered. Now, we come to type D of our truck body. We've got some angle steel supported by some steel bar. And I think between the 1/4 inch angle and the 1/8 inch bar, we're going to have enough support. And this is starting to look a lot better than what we started with. And I believe this is going to support all the weight we would need for a couple of riders. This version also comes in at 7110, which is not bad for a price, I'd say. And I like the looks of this a lot better than our original design. We are concealing things a bit, but we don't really need access to anything there now that we can just drop the entire assembly out from the bottom. Let's hop into FreeCAD and take a look at these in a bit more detail. So here we are in FreeCAD taking a look at our iterations of trucks. And we started here with the refinement of our first version. And these little trucks are just too bulky. We moved down here. These little trucks are too light. We come down to our next version. These little trucks are a bit overbuilt. But these little trucks may be just right. We have 1/4 inch angle steel supported by 1/8 inch steel bar. Now, we would have bolts in here that secure our bearings to this bar, and then our bolts are just going to float in up here. It's going to provide us, as it is now, we have about, what, about a half an inch of travel. So we may want to change that a bit, but I don't know how much we're going to need, honestly. We don't have a lot of travel up into the body, so we don't want to have too much there. But these are wide enough to support our wheels with some, we've got a bit of room in between to spare. If we want to shrink this a tiny bit, we could. I don't know what kind of clearance is normal for this, but I think this looks pretty good. Of course, we're up to 2 springs per wheel instead of just the single we had before. We have a kind of covered up design as well, which I like the looks of this, honestly. I think this is a pretty slick little set of trucks. I mean, of course, it's not it's it's not official, but I think it'll work just fine for us. Now, after all of that, let's talk about costs. Type A came in most expensive, of course. Type B, the cheapest. C and D are a very similar cost, but D came in at 71 per truck, and I think that is an okay price. Now, of course, how does that actually convert to rolling stock? Well, that means we can build a skeleton logging car, a rolling frame that's a spine and trucks for anywhere from $650 to $830 based on those designs. If we wanted to turn that into a single motor, then we're going from 1120 to in the 1400 range. If we then want to go two motors, we're talking 16 to 19. Now, if we disregard our expensive Type A set and add the about $100 it is for our wood, we can build a dual motor locomotive with everything we need, structurally wise, for under $2,000. And I think that is fantastic because I would really like to get the small box cab under $1,000 and the dual seater under $2,000. Right now, this is considered a senior citizen's hobby, and I don't mean that disparagingly. It's because of the cost to enter. You need you need to spend your retirement to buy one of these locomotives. And in order for this hobby to expand and get more widespread, I think the entry cost needs to come way down. Right now, you're looking at $2,000 about to get into this hobby, and that's, building it yourself with a kit. That's also a locomotive you can't ride on, so you're going to need a separate rider's car, which is also going to cost you more money. I would like to see an entry level locomotive, sub $1,000, assembled that people can get into this hobby with. So, will any of this work? I think so. I think we're finally onto something that may be useful with this Type D. I think our first design was probably too bulky. I think our second design didn't provide enough support for our riders, but I think this Type D is just hits all the right marks. And modifying the same design slightly for the small box cab for only having two axles, I think we could get something under $1,000. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for joining me for designing an expensive 7.5-inch ride-on locomotive trucks part 3. I'll see you next time.